Hello everyone, this is KimMeWyatt and welcome to this video. Hey, y'all, I'm on a roll. This is the fourth one I've done today. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Ding! So you can be one of the first to get notifications of new vids I post up. Also, scroll down. No, I keep trying to put this old script of mine in my videos. Squash that. If you order products from me, well, Kimmy, how can I order products from you? If you order products from me, you're going to need my price listing, right? Scroll down where the description, that's the word, scroll down where the description is for the video, and you will see two things. You will see, well, no, in the description, you will only see my email. Send me an email if you want a price listing of my products, okay? Information is right there. Okay, now, let me do something. Oh, no, I don't want that. Okay. Okay. If you order products from me and it doesn't have my logo on it, it's not mine. Also, the Cash App is right there as well where the video is posted. Okay, so I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible. The reason why I said I'm on a roll today is because this will be my fourth video today, y'all, on both channels. Speaking of channels, scroll down and you will see my other channels. Whatever channel you're on, you're going to see my other channels. I suggest you scroll down and just subscribe to all of them. And click the notification bell. So, okay, so you guys know I've been in a shelter. I was in a shelter. Okay. I told you guys I was going to tell you how I got put out the shelter. She thought I forgot. Ooh. Okay. Lisa. Okay. Oh, God, you better cut it out. Oh, he just said, don't forget. So you eventually at this shelter. Now, another shelter, you immediately will get a case manager. Basically immediately, no, you really do. At another shelter, you have to wait like 6 months. Don't know what they got going on now. Let me say that. So I'm sitting there not really waiting for one of their case managers because I know regardless I could still get services at this other shelter. Okay. The bridge. Okay. In Dallas, Texas. So regardless of basically regardless of where you lay your head, you because it takes so long, you know, at one shelter, you can get services at another shelter, and they're aware of that. Okay. So I finally get a case manager. Hi, Jennifer. My case manager was Jennifer, black lady, and Jennifer and I, in my opinion, I don't know how she felt about me, but Jennifer and I were, you know, she was cool. And I told her she was really sweet when I met her. She also knew I was a gang stalking victim. She knew that, and it got to the point where we're Scorpio. Okay. So it got to the point where Jennifer would just be when I'm in there, Jennifer would be laughing her butt off. Okay. So one day she told me, she said, and it could be because of Jennifer. You know, some people be laughing in your face, but you don't know. I mean, I doubt it. I know in my heart it was not her because I specifically asked her this. So anyway, I'll tell you later. So Jennifer tells me, Kimmy, my real name. She used my real name. My supervisor wants to be present in our meetings. Present in our meetings? For what? First thing came to my mind, I said, wait a minute. Is she black? Y'all, my gang stalking is real, baby. Okay. I said, is she black? She said, no. I said, is she white? No. Not too much left, right? Ain't too many, you know, okay. I said, don't tell me she's Hispanic. Yes. I said, you tell her it's not going to go the way she thinks it's going to go. And you tell her I said it. See, God has given me high discernment. I can't speak for anyone else. Why you want to meet with me? I'm in a shelter. I guess for the same reason that when I got in the shelter, although I had turned my documents in order to get in the shelter and copies were made, how about all of a sudden I got to meet with this Hispanic chick on top of the black guy taking my stuff. I'll do it. I'll take care of her. That kind of stuff. Like people stupid, like somebody's stupid. And she made copies of my documents with her personal phone. I called and ratted on her ass. Yes, I did. You know, I'm like, why did she? And he didn't even know. I don't remember who he was, his position. He didn't even know she had done that. And he said, no, she wasn't supposed to be doing that. Yeah, because the old ID, my old identification, they had the old one that was floating around. They didn't have my new one. When I really didn't know what the hell was going on. You know, your ID, your identification lasts for years. So I didn't know what the hell was going on. You know what I'm saying? I knew something was going on, but I didn't know to this depth of my gang stalking. So anywho, it was some Hispanics. Let me say something. If you don't like me being my 110% authentic self, get off my page. I'm just going to say it now. Stop watching my videos. And this is a subliminal message for someone. I already warned them that I'm going to come and just attack your $$sign and front you out. But okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell the story. And I'm going to put race in it. And I'm going to tell who. It just depends on what comes out. Okay. And people that knew me when I was in radio and people that knew me when I grew up and people knew, if she tells you something, it's very detailed. She's going to tell you if one of their eyelashes was out. I mean, she's just going to be detailed. So I'm going to put race in my stuff and I shouldn't have to explain that to anyone. Like I said, okay, continue. Sorry for that public service announcement. So I asked her, I said, you tell her, I said, it's not going to go the way she thinks it's going to go. And you tell her I said it. Next meeting, she was there. Couldn't look me in my face, first of all. That was the first X. So she's like, well, we're doing blah, blah, blah. She wanted me to go get a job. And come up with, initially she said $500 a month. Okay. I was like, she said more, but then she went down to 500. Clarification. I was like, what? And I'm not trying to be funny, y'all. And I'm not trying. I told my ex-best friend this, and she had worked for this company. I'm not a McDonald's chick. I don't care what's going on. Y'all, I'm just not. I'm not going to even fake the funk. I'm not going to fake the funk and make you think that I'm fixing to go step up at McDonald's. I'm not going to do it. Sorry. I know there's a way around that mountain. I've been around that mountain, both sides. I mean, mountains, okay. Around the parameter. I'm not fixing to do that. And my best friend had worked when she was 16. She worked at McDonald's. I hope, in hindsight, she didn't take it personal. No, and there's nothing wrong with that's just not me. Okay. So we went back and forth, and they had a workforce thing in there, and she lied and said I had to go meet with her instead of doing my own thing when there was a real workforce across the street, okay, that I could go to. So she wanted me to go get this job. Okay, all right. She gave me a time for me to go get the job. Here comes the next meeting. So in that meeting, though, I asked her, I said, are you meeting with anyone else but me? You know, I don't remember what her response is. Well, this is something new we're doing. Why? How did I become the first candidate? Whatever it was, I'm going to question it. So here come the other meetings and the other meetings and the other, I think we had about 4 or 5 meetings. She didn't count when she wasn't present for a meeting. But if I wasn't y'all, okay, you better fly off. Okay. And I just killed 2 of them. It's funny. When you kill 2, it's really funny. And I want y'all to notice how it's just disappearing. Okay? I want y'all to notice how this gnat is literally not flying anywhere, but just, it's going to fly somewhere because I said it. Watch how this gnat gets on this mirror and just boop, gone. I'm so used to it. People at the shelter noticed that. Wherever I was around, gnats would come around, or were people that were chosen, when moving right along. We would notice. One lady was a white lady from Africa. Yes, she said, yes, I noticed. I said, you saw that gnat, right? She said, yes. And here it comes again. And I said, because I saw it, I didn't say anything the first time. The second time I said, did you see where it went? She said, it just disappeared. It just disappeared. I said, that's what I wanted. I just wanted to make sure you saw that. It just disappeared. Yeah. And y'all say witchcraft and voodoo isn't real. I just killed 2 of them today. And whenever I kill them, they're replaced by new ones. The ippity bippity boppity booing, the witchcraft and all that. Yeah, they're replacing monitoring spirits to sum that up. So we had our meetings, and at one meeting she invited let me tell you the standard, critical for when you have to meet with your case manager, what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to put a note on your bed to let you know, little half a sheet, to let you know that you have a meeting at a specific time. But when you go, you usually know, like, okay, we're going to meet up every 3 weeks or whatever. But it's your reminder to let you know that y'all stay with me. Standard. I can call 2 people right now and they'll tell you, yeah, that's how it went. It was standard. So one meeting we had, she had the lady from Rapid Housing, a black lady, in our meeting. And I guess she thought I was going to be like, and I represented. This black lady was looking at me like, wow. Had never met this lady before. But I told her I had a skin and hair care line. I said, I make sales and stuff in here. I make my sales. I have some in here, but she upped the amount of money, by the way, in our next meeting of how much money she wants me to make. And then another thing I wasn't cool with, but I mean, this not my business. It's the rules. They also wanted people to show their, not birth certificates. You already had that, I think. But they wanted people to show their pay stubs. KimMeWyatt doesn't show her fucking pay stub to no damn body. Just me telling y'all, I go out here and hug one of these damn trees before I didn't show my ex-husband my damn pay stub. I'm just hardcore like that. I don't care what's going on. I'm going to go around whatever mountain that is. But we didn't get to that level. That's me telling y'all that. And I had a really, Nahimana, I got your message, girl. I love you. I hope I don't cry. I'm going to call you. I hope you're okay. Like you was hoping I'm okay. Nahimana was my Indian friend in there. And yeah. I'm worried about you. Down like 4 flat tires. And don't call her white, because she will tell you in a minute, because she looks white. I mean, she's like, I'm not white. Woo, she'll tell you in a minute she wasn't white. But that's her race, with anyone. We didn't know. But she would tell you she's not white. No offense to the white people. That's what I'm saying. Be yourself. If you white and you love it, you love it. If you black and you love it. She's Indian, and she loved being Native Indian. So she did not want to be called something she wasn't. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Get the chip off your shoulder. Okay? That's like if somebody called me white. I'm not white. Why are you calling me white? Although I've been called white. So, moving right along. So we having these meetings. We had about 5. I think I had about 5 meetings with her. Now, it was okay when she didn't show up at a meeting. But when I didn't show up at a meeting, which was this one time, and let me tell you why. 2 times. One time I forgot. My fault. But that's not grounds for you getting put out. Okay, let me say that. Totally forgot. I was already gone. No problem. But 2 times she didn't show up. Okay. So. And not that I wanted her to. I'm just saying, just keeping record. You keeping record, I'm keeping record. So this particular time that I met with her, with the lady that's over Rapid Housing, at the end of our meeting, I'm asking her questions because she's the reason I knew it. We used to have weekend passes and extensions. daily extension passes. And I became finally eligible to be able to have, to spend, have weekend passes or extended hours, like come back at 10, come back, you know what I'm saying? It was because of her, anyone listening to this video, that we couldn't do that anymore. KimMe, you can't watch KimMe when she gone. The cameras that's in the women's dorm that all of a sudden got put in. Now, they had cameras in there, but the cameras that was in there above my bed, they got put in there all of a sudden that you didn't think I knew about. You can't watch her when she's gone. Can you? So if you're going to tell KimMe she can't go somewhere, can't nobody go anywhere. You knew. So you had to come up with the rules that changed this woman, Hispanic. A lot of people have noticed, I am going to say this, when some Hispanics get a position, they can't stay within, the requirements of the position, especially when it's a position of authority or higher authority, a supervisor, and they got to change rules that ain't no damn body asked them to change. Okay, everybody's noticing that. I've been noticing it. I mean, but if it's their people, all kind of fucking rules can be changed. And I'm just gonna step on their toes. It's funny how people do stuff and they don't want to hear what they do. Why are you doing it? You don't want to hear what you're doing. Why are you doing it? Make it make sense. Ding. Okay, so anyway, met with at the session, the end of this meeting, because I'm getting on her stuff, and I said, I got a couple of questions for you. I said, why is it all of a sudden we can't have, these extensions and all that? And I looked her right in her face because I knew she had something to do with it. Well, I just felt like, I just felt this way. And she don't make those decisions. She took it to probably having sex with something with this man that I don't remember his name, but he's over, his mom and dad supposedly, came up with the shelter, his mom and his mother and father. But, how I go, a woman that uses her, I'm not saying she did that would be allegations, but I'm saying it could be of my eventually opinion that she might have been giving up the good goods, which is because I'm like, why she was able to pull this off, and amongst other things, how are you able to do that? And some women will have sex to get their way in the workplace. So if she didn't do it, she didn't do it. But I can still have my opinion. Okay. No accusations, opinions, two different things. Okay. So, and I'm waiting on the answer with the lady. Ooh, she looked at me and she looked at her. Anything I said, this woman, it became funny. This was a sister. And she was like we both waiting on the answer. Oh, I just felt like, my thing is this, if you can go stay with not talking about me, if you can go stay with your boyfriend all night long, and she probably thought that's what I was doing. Somebody lying. She going to go stay with her boyfriend all night. Outside source. Getting on the inside lying. This damn warlock can tell someone that has been following me for years is a repulsive fucking liar. He had everybody for years thinking that he wanted to look at my hair, which is why he wanted to spy on me. Can you believe, or you won't believe how many people, even as of recent, fell for that? You want to look at her hair? You couldn't come up to me and you a man telling me you want to look at someone's hair. I mean, that ain't going to go right on no day. I don't care if you my best friend. I don't care if we've been down like 4 flat tires. I don't care. You could not tell me that you want me to aid you in spying on someone because you want to see their damn hair. I'm going to be like, what? What's wrong with you? You want to see her hair? Really? No, sorry, I'm out. You a man and you want to see her hair? Yeah, you want to see my hair, all right, but it was the hair down here, not on my head. Drop the microphone. but he only want to see the hair down here because when I was doing my head, and I've told you guys this before, I'm 4C. Okay, my hair is straight now, but my natural hair, that natural, y'all seen it in the videos, and y'all was thinking because y'all listen to other that it's not my hair. That's all my hair. The same hair that's straight right now, when it goes to hell, when my hair goes to hell, baby, yeah, ooh, I have some thick ass damn hair. So, and so anyway, and so I'm asking her questions. You want to ask me questions, I'm going to ask you some questions. So I had about 2 or 3 questions for her. So she changed the whole system as to what homeless people she was the cause of it, rather, of why people could not spend time with their family after they've been there like 3 months or something. It just wasn't immediate. And that was the kicker. It wasn't immediate. But let me finish I just don't feel like, let me finish her excuse. I feel like if you can go stay with your boyfriend all night long, and she wasn't talking about me. I said, stay with your boyfriend. She said, oh, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying if other women, if they can go stay with their boyfriend, other people, if they go stay with their boyfriend all night, then I'm like, what the hell they got to do with you? It takes 3 months to get there. They have paid the price. They just not coming. This is what I'm thinking. What the hell they got to do with you? But I know it has something to do with you, because like me, if you're leaving and them damn cameras y'all got in the damn bathroom and behind the mirror, which shows all of that back there, the shower area. And women come out with no clothes on. Yeah, you can't do not her. You can't do the spine on whomever that is in lieu of me, right? When we're gone. Yeah, you can't make that money. Y'all, okay. So here comes the next meeting. She had to get me back. She told me in that meeting, I'm honest, when our next meeting would probably be. I wrote it down. That's my choice. Her job, not that I'm sitting there looking at I got to go to. I wrote it down. That means if I saw it, I would have been prepared after I wrote it. But you're looking at another two weeks. Okay. Not only that, she was meeting with me. No, you're looking at another week. She was meeting with me once a week. And when I asked her, by the way, back up, why was she just wanting to meet with me and she wasn't meeting with anyone else as the next times came on? It was true. They were supposed to meet with people. That was because we had a town hall meeting, part 1 and part number 1 and number 2 at the shelter. But she was meeting with me before it went into effect. So that was another question I asked her. I said, well, I attended the town hall meeting. She said, yeah, I know. I said, why were you meeting with me before that went into effect? And my other question for her, she didn't know that the guy above her was going to reveal this. There were 2 types of clients. A type of client that they felt like something was wrong with them in the mental state. Y'all, post your comments. You think something wrong with me? It would be a resounding hell fuck no. I'm talking about something in the head. Hell no. No. That was her excuse. Now, those people you meet with every week. Anyone else you meet with every 2 weeks. So I asked her, I said, wait a minute, hold on. Why you meet with me every week? Yeah. The next meeting when she told me it was 2 weeks because I had a witness in there. Why are you meeting with me every week? I want to say because should have said because you want to be off in my business and see what the fuck I got going on. Yeah. So that meeting, the lady that was there, she was wonderful. She said, well, Miss Wyatt, let me tell you one thing. She said, we don't have your name anywhere on a list for housing. What? And I've been in here over 3 months. Excuse me? We don't have your name on a list anywhere for housing. So we both looked at her when she said it. We both turned and looked at her like, okay, we need explanation. And then she went on to say, she said, well, let me explain how it works. She said, anybody that's in a shelter, their name goes to, and I heard of this before, okay, which is like a database. And she said, we get the names from the database to let us know that you need housing, okay? She said, your name is not on our list at all. Woo, did she cut her or what? Did she cut her or what? Now, you want me to do all this stuff, but my name is not on the database. Let me tell you something, too. Back up. The second time I met with her, no break. I was there. She was there. Second time I met with her, she said something about something. And, of course, my case manager was there. There's 3 of us. And she says, I said, who is that? Who is that person? Because my case manager basically dry snitched on her. Mm-hmm. She said, you want me to get rid of this other Kim? Y'all know by now my birth name, blank Wyatt file. And I was like, huh? And she said, and she caught her off guard. And she said, she said, the one that has a social security number, blah, 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 1 digit out from mine. Hold on. My name, and it's 1 digit out from my social security number, and the date of birth is 1 year out from mine. See, this is how they let people in the shelter. Mm-hmm. So I gave her this look like, really? Jennifer looking at me like, this woman right here, Lord Jesus. Yeah, she looking at me like, oh, God. I said, really? Like to myself, I'm looking like, so I asked, I said, who is that? Oh, it's just another file that we had. My name, my birth name, but the birth date was 1 year off. And the social security was 1 digit off. Sabotage. What Hispanic is this you trying to get up in here in this shelter? Using my credentials. Yeah. So fast forward. So the lady was so impressed with me and she was so kind. She said when we stood up, I shook her hand and everything because we set a time for the next meeting. Okay, and this is where it went. Woo! And she said, "Oh, I know you do something with people's hair because your hair is gorgeous." I said, "Oh, thank you." She said, "It's so thick." And I said, "Thank you," and everything. And she said, "Well, it was nice to meet you." She said, "But no, we don't have you on any listing for housing." What? So she went her way, I went my way. So remember, she told me when our next meeting was going to be. Remember, I wrote it down. Had I wrote it down or not, that was my choice. Now we going to every 2 weeks like we should have been. Okay? All of a sudden, because I said something, she wants to meet me every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks had passed. Mm-hmm. I wrote that down, but it was not my responsibility to be putting anything on my bed to let me know we had a meeting. Don't forget that. That's standard. Case managers put the note on your bed up under something, your cover, to let you know, pillow, that you have a meeting at such and such time. I had been getting them. Even before she came in the scene. What you talking about? So that meeting was not on my agenda. It was on her agenda, which would have put it on my agenda. Okay. So here comes the Friday. I'm getting ready to leave. A Friday. I'm getting 2 weeks later, obviously. I'm getting ready to leave. I'm dressed. I'm hugging people, telling people bye. You know, they know you'll be back or because she done changed the whole, you can't spend a night or whatever. Okay. So they, and you had to be back by 6. So, as I'm sitting down, but I had already made my rounds, telling people bye, or they came up to me or something, we were like family, most of us. the ones I was around. So I'm sitting down, just as I was about to rise my butt up, literally, to leave. I had a guy that brought me a red cart. I had my red cart. I was ready to go. I knew what time the bus was coming. I'm getting up out of here, Here comes my case manager. She said something like, she got in front of the table, round table though, but she got in front of me at the table on the other side. And she said something about meeting. I said, meeting? And she said, yeah, Lisa, her name was Lisa, by the way. Lisa wants to, and I asked Lisa, was that her real last name when I first met her? And she told, oh, no, I use another name. Whose information are you using where you got this great job, okay, where you getting paid? Whose stuff are you using? So anyway, just side note. So anyway, she said, basically, can you come to meet with us? And I said, Jennifer, girl, I'm fit to go. I said, why didn't y'all put some on my bed? She said, she didn't put a note on your bed? I said, no. And I got to get up out of here. I really had an important meet. I had to go, literally. She said, no. I said, well, look, tell her we're going to have to reschedule because I'm up out of here, So Jennifer hurriedly went back. Obviously, she's waiting for me. Jennifer hurriedly went back to let her know what I said. I said, tell her we're going to have to reschedule. In other words, I'm grown in parentheses. I'm already you didn't put no note on my bed. Jennifer is obviously shocked about that. You obviously lied to her and told her probably, but she didn't probably even have a conversation. It's standard. You're going to have a meeting with the case manager. There will be a note on your bed. No note. No, no. See, she tried to catch me off guard, like I caught her ass off guard, trying to catch me off guard with the lady from Rapid Housing. She thought she was, and I tore that ass up. So she didn't want to, because I had notes when I go see her. She didn't want me, this was the reason for that. She didn't want me to be prepared with my notes. Okay? One of those types of people didn't want to be embarrassed whether someone else was in there or not. She didn't want to be embarrassed and have it on record with Jennifer that I was fixing to tear her ass up. Okay, that's what that was. So she did not put a note on my bed to let me know we had a meeting. What? So by this time I've risen up. I'm thinking no big deal. I'm fixing to go. Here she comes. Mrs. Wyatt, we really need to meet with you right now. And I said, Lisa, did y'all put a note on my bed? You could have bought it for 5 cents because, we're in there in the women's section. Everybody's sitting down because people, one thing people didn't know, if I open my mouth up, I'm E.F. Hutton. Everybody's listening. I said, did you put a note on my bed? No. I said, wait a minute. I said, you expect me, and I'm fixing to go, to come meet with you when we can reschedule it because you didn't put a note on my bed to let me know we had a meeting and I'm on my way out the door. Now, was I wrong, y'all, or was I right? That is standard procedure that they do what? Put a note on your bed to let you know you have. She said, but you wrote it down. I said, Lisa, I may have written that down, but that was 2 weeks ago. It is your responsibility. Hadn't looked at it since I wrote it down, y'all. It is your responsibility this is your job. You're supposed to let people know. I said, had I known the night before or 2 days, they literally would give you about 2 days, 48 hours ahead of time. It may even be the weekend, longer than that. They're going to let you know that you have a meeting, regardless of what was said in the previous meeting. In other words, that's their responsibility. She didn't put the note in there. She thought I was just going to stop what I was doing and come, I was already running a little behind. She thought I was going to stop what I was doing and come meet with her. No, we're not. Guess what she said? I said, Lisa, I got to go. I said, I'm not trying to be funny, but I had already had this plan. I said, this is urgent. She said, well, what is this on my shirt? And I've done oil, I guess. I've done 3 other videos. Okay. She said, well, I'll tell you what. If you don't meet with me today, then Monday, when you come back, when you leave, don't come back. Guess what I did? I said, bye. People at the desk was like, oh, Lord Jesus. Like, oh. I said, bye. Push that chair. Y'all know how church sounds when push that chair back. Walked up out of there. Here comes Monday. Blank Wyatt, can you get? I expected it. It wasn't a shocker because she said it. Blank Wyatt, can you come to the guest services? Miss Wyatt. Now this one, rope-a-dope. This one right here, attitude, black when I was so, God knew not to make her my case manager. He knew. Woo! From whatever, regardless of race, this woman was a case manager from hell, from what I understand. Matter of fact, I didn't even know who she was, and she was at the guest desk one day, but she was time for her to leave. She was talking to them first, and she passed right behind me because I used to sit right by a door, double doors, and that's where the employees would park their cars. And I said, I can't remember her name. But anyway, I said, can I ask you something? Oh no, I know my limits. I'm not something. I was like, oh, okay. But she didn't know what I was going to tell her was for her benefit. See, that's why people need to keep their mouth closed. I was like, and I had written her a note and everything to slide up under her door. I told her. But I never put it under her door because I was going to tell her about herself. Like, what I was trying to tell you was, I'm the lady that, because she wasn't my case. As a matter of fact, I didn't even have a case manager at the time. My case manager was weeks later. But yeah, real attitude. So when I went up to guest services, guess who was at guest services? All the Hispanic women from the admin Hispanic women. Never seen all them at the desk ever. You might see one. You might see one coming down the, but you never saw all of them at the guest services. I said, ooh, just like I expected, all of y'all are here. They put their head down. Just like they wanted to make sure they saw me leaving out. In lieu of that, now they know, was the one covering up with a black marker the mirror that sent anybody that's still there at that shelter, you being spied on while you're in the shower. That was me that would get up there and get a black marker, big mirror, double the size of this one. Okay. And you can see where someone has scratched out the back of the mirror. Camera that's showing way, and I wasn't the only one that noticed it, but I was the one that did something about it. So if y'all want to know who that was that kept covering that up, because it's an inside job, y'all spying on people while they taking a shower, it was this one talking. Ooh, they mad. They hotter than a firecracker. Yeah, all y'all Hispanics knew. That's what y'all do, spy on people when they showering and shit. All of y'all knew. And it's another lady, oh my God, I can't think of these people's names now because they in your life and they out of your life. Scorpio, that I do remember about her. She said, you see them two hoes up there? I said, yeah, I already know. Other ladies that had been gone, down like 4 flat tires. Hoes, and yeah, so y'all need, what y'all need to do is get in that damn bathroom and cover up all them fucking hoes that y'all got up in there in the shower area. And in the bathroom period, that's shining back there in the back where women come out. Y'all don't know how many women just would come out, and we were not allowed to do that. But you got a overflow of women. It's a turnover. So they may not know all the rules, and some of them knew the rules but still did it. So you had women that would come out to put their clothes on and they got a damn thing on. 2 holes in the mirror. I said mirror, not holes on this side, but holes on the other side, but you can see them where it's been scratched out because behind there in the wall was a camera. Maintenance. And I'm going to tell you something. When I went to that shelter, when that Hispanic guy saw me, soon as he saw me, see, when most Hispanics see me and they know I've never met them, they'll put their head down. He put his head down when he saw me because he knew who I was or am. He did this. Walked on, because he already knew. They know I know what they'll do. He knew that I knew it was some shit going on up in that shelter before I came up in there. You hear me? He knows I know how they operate. You got all these women in here, you mean tell me you're not spying on them? Yeah, and they had a sister property around the corner that housed only women, like women that had been prostitutes, you know what I'm saying, had been on drugs and prostitution and stuff. And he was maintenance over there. I said, I'll be damned. I know he over there just enjoying his little self. So yeah, so Monday came, and then here comes the other case manager, the one that couldn't, Aisha. It was some with Sha in it. And it hit me. She said, Miss Wyatt, now you know. I said, what's going on? She said, Miss Wyatt, now you know why you getting put out. I said, excuse me? I said, yeah, I was told if I left on Monday not to come back. She said, oh, you know. I'm like, what the fuck she talking about? It didn't hit me until I left. I said, I'll be down. Let me tell y'all what happened. God, thank you. Second reminder. She wanted me to get this job or something, go do this and do this. And I went to the Texas workforce and all that, did all of that. To let her know, I embarrassed her because I let her know. I said, I don't have to go in here in the computer room. I knew for a fact in that computer room, I'm pulling up other people's stuff when I get on the computer. So I'm definitely, if I don't do that here, I'm definitely not going to do it there. I also knew, knowledge is power. You want me to go job searching. I don't have to do it here. What makes you think that I have to do it here? You tell that to some of these people, and I'm not saying I told her this, okay? But you tell that to some of these people in here that don't know their rights. I can go outside of here. I can probably have family that got their own businesses and go work with them or something like that. I don't have to get on the computers here. So for me, now she'll know it was a security issue, but she should have known, okay? So right across the street, there was a full-fledged Texas workforce right across the street. That's where I went. Well, I said, no. I said, and I knew she was going to do this. She said, I said, I don't have to sign up here. I said, I don't have to go meet with, and I attempted. Don't get me wrong, I attempted, but we kept missing each other. 70%, 60% my fault. I'm sitting there waiting, and then she's gone somewhere, and then I get up and go, we kept missing each other. So, or if we had a 3:00 meeting or something, I'm out. So, look, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I don't have to meet with whatever her name was. I can go across the street. That's what I did. I went across the street. So at one of the meetings where she thought she's fixing